Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Until Dawn. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Shall we? Leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Until Dawn, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, Until Dawn. This was quite the experience for me because this is a movie that is an adaptation of a video game, and it's a video game that I quite really like. To be frank with you. And, you know, when I saw the trailers for this movie, I was like, this isn't Until Dawn. This is just a movie that's trying to be Until Dawn and has some aspects of Until Dawn within it for sure, but this is not Until Dawn. So I was quite frankly going into this movie kind of expecting to hate it. Now, I always do what I always do. Once I get to the movie, whatever feelings I had before, I always put them to the side because I always want to give the movie the most fair shot that it could possibly get. And this was also my second movie of a double feature. I saw The Accountant 2 before, and that was a pretty good ride. I was like, okay, yeah, you know, I'm in somewhat a good mood. And then this family comes in, and, you know, it's mom and a dad and like 8 kids. And I'm not talking teenagers. I'm talking actual children. I was like, man, this was a rated R movie, isn't it? Because if it's PG-13, I'm breaking my rule because I have a rule when it comes to PG-13 horror, is that I'm only seeing it super late at night, and I'm seeing it on a weekday, so there I don't have to deal with kids whatsoever. Because, you know, teenagers, you know, we've all been there. You know, we try to make it about ourselves. We're trying to impress the girl that we're with on the date, to show that we're not scared and that, you know, we're making fun of it because we're trying to be quippy and all that and trying to impress. I get it. Teenage guys, I get it. And teenage girls too, y'all do it too. It's not funny. It's actually really annoying. Believe me, I had to learn the hard way, and I'm teaching you the hard way right now. So, you know, I see these actual kids come in, and then the parents leave. Luckily, this is all happening during the trailers. But yeah, the parents leave, and it was one of those situations where it's because, you know, there's like 10 kids. It's part of this kid's birthday party. They probably played the game. One of those parents was like, yeah, you know, it's rated for mature or whatever. No judgment whatsoever. They want to see the movie. This is for his birthday because they went on to go see a movie that they want to see. They're not into this, but hey, we'll let them do it. And as soon as they left, those kids thought the theater was theirs. I was just like, oh crap. This is going to be one of those types of movies. And it got to the point, you know, during the trailers, some other adults that were in are trying to teach these kids lessons. And of course, these kids are like, you're not my dad. And it was just going back and forth. Sure enough, they leave. They bring the theater worker in. And then, you know, it's a whole situation, right? Then the movie starts. And those kids actually got quiet. So that's a tendency to the movie because, you know, it takes a lot for a movie, you know, to really grab your interest from all the way through. And again, as someone who was really expecting to not like this movie because there's really nothing special when it comes to this film on its surface. You've seen this multiple times, that to the point where if you wanted to come to me and go, hey, that was a very cliche horror movie, I wasn't really feeling it, I'm not necessarily going to argue with it. But again, with how this was before, and the story is probably not doing it justice, with how my experience was before, how I was feeling going into it, because this was my second movie, I was already a little tired, how my preconceived notions of the movie before going into it, and then of course everything that was happening during the trailers of the movie, I have to tell you I had a really good time with it. Again, nothing special when it comes to it. Very surface level storytelling. And quite frankly, I could really rip this movie to shreds if I really wanted to. When it comes to character dynamics, it's very base level and they're not really touched on. There's a love story within this, you know, a love connection. One guy likes the girl they used to date. They broke up because he seems to be really in control, or he tries to be the savior, if you will, while she just really wants some space. She's really an introvert and she's going through a lot internally. Barely touched on whatsoever. There's another girl, she has a new boyfriend every new boyfriend or girlfriend every 3 months or so. The only consistency seems to be her friends. Barely touched on. The boyfriend is a psych major. That's kind of touched on. One girl is like one with spirits and, you know, future and all that stuff, barely touched on. Again, it just gives you base level stuff and that's it. What this movie is wanting to accomplish is within scary and very nerve-wracking scenes. And I would say for the most part, they do succeed in that. Now, like I said, going in and watching the trailers, it seems to have nothing to do with the game whatsoever. Watching the movie, the spirit of the game is for surely there. It just has a different twist within it. And in a lot of ways, it's a sequel to the game, or maybe it's a prequel. I'm not sure. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I am talking about. There's one scene in particular that makes it clear, like, oh, so this is afterwards. Or maybe it's before. Again, I'm not going to go into it too much. But yeah, there is that aspect as well. And also, they realized this great opportunity that they had with this premise. Okay, they have until dawn. They have to make it through the night. But if they die, then they reset. So within that, and every night is different. So there was the slasher movie on night 1. Then it's like a possession movie on night 2. Then it's like this kind of movie on night 3. Then it's like a body horror on night 4. Then we have a little bit of a found footage in night 5. And so on and so forth. In a lot of ways, it really is a celebration of the horror genre, because again, we're really attacking everything that it goes through, to the point where I'm thinking, this could be a game. This could be a very fun game. Can you imagine this, like, Fortnite style? You get in your lobby, you summon in, and you have no idea what kind of game it could be. And all you know is that you have to survive the night or be the last one standing. I think there's money within that. PlayStation needs to really consider making that engine, and they could probably make good bank off of it. But anyway, going through each night and it being very, very fresh, that's also where some tempo issues come into the movie as well. Because if one dies, then the others don't really care to live, because if one of them goes out, then then it's over. It's game over. And within that, I just don't think you necessarily need to see all the deaths, because once it becomes clear that the group's like, look, if one of them dies, we reset completely. I don't need to see everyone die. If it would have been like, hey, there's multiple ways to go out, and we could have had this nice twist on deaths where, we know the people who typically die, and then once they die, they're out of the movie. We had an opportunity where we can go, look, if you don't see them anymore and they're gone because they escaped, they lived and they're out of the movie. And I think that could have had some fun within it as well, but we didn't do that. But when you do make it clear that the group is not going to continue unless they have all the members, then once one person dies, you're kind of just sitting there waiting for the other deaths to happen, and therefore the tempo does kind of drag out a little bit. Didn't necessarily need to see all the deaths. In fact, I didn't necessarily need to see every single night. I would prefer if maybe we got the first 2, maybe 3 nights before we had a little montage of the others before we're like, okay, now we're at the finale. Because every time they die, they have some more knowledge, and then it keeps going, and they're able to connect the things over through until later on, where they do start to lose some of the memories because of how the rules are set up within the movie. It's really, really interesting. And again, at the end of the day, if you're going to come to me and say, hey, this is a very cliched movie, I'm not going to argue with it. If you told me you didn't really like it because, again, it seemed very run-of-the-mill, I'm not going to argue with it. But I really do think I got what they were trying to go for. And within that, I was able to have a really good time with the movie. I laughed a good chunk. I jumped a good chunk of it too. And I don't just think that was due to jump scares, which there is a lot. There is a lot of jump scares within this film. I thought they were just really very well executed. And I think we have an opportunity. Again, box office is everything. But we have an opportunity where, we can do a different set of characters with a different kind of premise and just keep this going, where we can have like Until Dawn Arctic. That was not me buffering. I couldn't move on to Dawn. I have a stuttering problem right now. But yeah, we could do Until Dawn Arctic. We could do Until Dawn on the Beach. We could do all of these different styles where, it could be really interesting. We have something here where it's like an anthology franchise. But box office is key, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I think this might be a movie that I put into my Halloween lineup moving forward. I think it's a great party movie as well. Again, I've ripped this movie to shreds in a little bit of ways, but because you can just invite a bunch of people over, and you crack open a couple of beers, or you pour a couple of glasses of wine, and you're drinking, you're watching this movie with your buds, and you're just ripping it to shreds, and you're taking the piss out of the movie. But some movies are good with that. I had a good time, very, very sober, with a rowdy crowd. And again, with preconceived notions that I'm like, I'm not going to like this movie due to what I loved about the game. And I still had a good time. I want to add this to my Halloween watch list, because every Halloween I binge watch a lot of horror movies. I'm thinking about making like a Halloween special like Chris Stuckman does, but I'm not sure if I will. But yeah, I'm thinking about adding it to that because I had that good of a time with the movie. On the lemon scale, this is, again, store-bought lemonade, which is, you know, about the third level. Sour lemon, expired store-bought, and then store-bought after that, and then it's lemonade freshly squeezed and strawberry lemonade after that. This is a store-bought lemonade, and it, you know, it's decently store-bought lemonade, but it's nothing to really complain about. Is this necessarily a theater movie? I would overall say no. Maybe if you had a better crowd, like it was a full crowd who was actually invested within the movie, and you know you have some people talking back to the film, then yeah, maybe. But again, I do think this movie is best set. You're at your place, maybe you threw something on the grill for a little bit, you have a bunch of friends over, everyone's maybe a little tipsy, everyone's having a good time, you push play on the movie, you talk a little noise about the film, but yet you're very thoroughly entertained throughout. It's a very good communal experience if you are in the right setting within that. But yeah, I had a fun time with it. I'm very surprised I had a good time with this movie, with, again, everything that happened beforehand. But yeah, store-bought lemonade. I had a good time at the theater. I'm more excited to watch it at home when I can invite some people over and we can just, you know, take the piss out of it. But let me know what y'all think about it down in the comment section. Leave a like on this video if you made it this far. I do greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.